Thank you, guys. All right. So to kick this off, where are all my product-based businesses? Product-based business. All right. Okay, quite a few, almost half, more than half. Where are my service-based businesses? All right. How many of you kind of do both? You playing in both spaces. All right. So I really hate that I missed yesterday and the marketplace and the bankable bucks. I heard Miss Jayla in the back was telling me all about the experience, and it sounds like you guys have had a really good time. Yeah. Now, today has been absolutely jam-packed with all this information that you guys need to know about your personal credit, about business credit, right? And so sometimes when we are working in our businesses all the time, it can feel like a real grind, right? It can feel like a real grind. And so my question to you guys is, have you ever wondered if there's more than the grind, right? Yes. Have you ever wondered what your business could do, what your business could be, and can you really leave a lasting impact? Have y'all ever wondered that? All right, so today we're going to talk not just about business, but we're going to talk about how you guys can start building businesses that make a real impact, that leave a true legacy. All right? And so that is what our conversation is all about today. I'm going to help you transform how you think about your business, how you invest in your business, and how you act in your business to become legacy builders. So somebody say think. Think. Somebody say invest. Invest. Somebody say act. Act. All right, those are the three things we're going to be covering today. But before we do that, I have a question I want to pose to each one of you. All right? So I take volunteers. Just raise your hand. I really do want to hear this, right? Have you ever thought why you should build a legacy? Why is it important for you? And the answer to this question varies just based on what you are aligned with, what you're focused on, what you want for yourself. But why is building a legacy important to you? Somebody give me, all right, Miss.
I feel like for me,
and I'm sorry, tell me the name of your business, what you do, and then tell me why a legacy.
So my name is Reid. I'm the founder and CEO of Reid, which is a luxury skin and body care company.
Yes.
So we're on a mission to help melanin-rich individuals create self-care regimens at home and on the go. And so to do that, I'm formulating skin and body care products for diverse skin types, but also safe to use with chronic illness.
I love it. I love it. Okay, now why is building a legacy important to you?
I think about how difficult it's been for me to get ahead with certain privileges that I've had, but especially with privileges that I've not had. And I'm just like, I don't want everything I'm doing to be in vain and my children have to, or just even future generations having to start from scratch.
Absolutely. Who else? Somebody, yes. Tell me your name, your business, and why building a legacy is important to you.
My name is Nicole Johnson. My business name is Road to Sharing All Natural, where I specialize in wellness products, where I specialize in sea moss and functional mushroom products.
Okay.
I always, this is my little mantra, I am the person I've been waiting for.
Say that.
So I understand that I have one son, and he probably will not carry on the torch. I don't see it, but
He's still a baby.
But the whole idea, because being one of the youngest, I am the youngest of all my siblings, but also being the only grandchild in with my grandmother, no one's taking a risk like I have. I have a couple cousins doing big things, but not like just on my own, on their own. So I think that kind of is like trying to show that it can be done.
Yeah.
A lot of people think in my family I'm a genius. I'm not a genius. They think I'm their lawyer in a financial institution. But
not the lawyer and the financial.
I'm everything, but I'm not. And just being in school where I went to school at, they had us categorized into sections as those that were going to succeed and those that were not going to succeed, or they may succeed.
Yeah.
So to be in that may succeed field and a C average in most of my things,
Yeah.
and to show that you can still do this without being a 4.0 student kind of helps thrive me.
Yeah, I get it. Ambition and drive and what other people thought, the naysayers, right? You want to prove them wrong. Okay, anybody else? Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Octavius Pearson, and I'm with Big Taste LLC, where I have a seasoning brand. What would you seasonings?
All right, seasonings. What kind of seasonings?
Good too.
We have over 30 different seasons that we carry. The legacy that came from us was, or what we look at, is the vision that God has given us. Has given me, because we've been prophesied and showed about different things that we are supposed to be giving through what God has opened the doors up for us, and that is to be a help to our people.
Yes.
Everybody else is doing these different things, but they said they even spoke about saying that we're going to be a blessing to other people.
Yeah.
And I think the legacy is being a blessing to your family, blessing to your people, blessing to your environment, your surroundings. And God has opened up that door for us to do that. So to where we're looking into a national concept that we're doing with what we're having, so that we can be a blessing, not just here, but worldwide.
But beyond. I love worldwide. I love it. So listen, it sounds like we are all on the same page, right? It sounds like it's resonating with you guys about the idea of leaving something behind, leaving something for others to follow, being an inspiration to others, and I absolutely love that. But I want to take a step, I want to go deeper, or it might even be taking a step back, right? Because when we talk about running a business, some of us are actually running a side hustle. All right? So no shade, no shade. No shade, but I want us to unpack this because there's a time and place for both, but there are some distinct differences between a business and a side hustle, and I just want to go through those real quick. All right, so with a business, we talking long term, right? So these are businesses, these are enterprises, right? These are viable business. With a side hustle, if a business is long term, what is a side hustle? Short term, absolutely. When we talk about a business, we're talking about something that is sustained, that will sustain you, that is sustainable through the ups and downs. When we talk about a side hustle, we talk about a fad, right? Something that might be trending, all right? When we talk about a business, we're talking about legacy, building and living that legacy. Whereas with the side hustle, it sometimes is all about that quick cash, right? That quick cash, that today money, all right? And then with a business, this is really a vehicle to drive generational wealth, right? Generational wealth. With a side hustle, you might be good for a good night out, right? And let me tell you, it's going to be a good night out. You're going to have fun. But there's a distinct difference between these two things, right? One is really going to be long-term, sustainable, allow you to pass on like some real wealth. And so this is important because I want to encourage some of you, if you do have a side hustle, and we're calling it a business, just start thinking differently about ways you can make that side hustle into a viable, sustainable business, because these are the things that's going to lead to generational wealth and to lead to long-lasting legacy. All right? So if this is your first time ever hearing of me, hearing my name, let me tell y'all are in good hands. All right? I'm a CPA. I'm a certified financial education instructor. And a couple of years ago, I wrote this book, right? This book is Teach Your Child to Fish, 5 Money Habits Every Child Should Master. This book is targeted to parents about what we should be teaching our young people. It's targeted to educators. It's targeted to mentors about teaching our kids these 5 building blocks that are going to sustain them, right? That are going to help them avoid a lot of the financial pitfalls many of us have faced. And so after I wrote this book, I started getting serious about turning the book into an enterprise, into a viable business. And it has proven to be a very good choice and decision of mine. It's something I'm very passionate about, but I got into this space because of my own personal experiences with money. And so let me tell y'all a little bit about that. So she already shared, Stacey shared, I was born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. This is me sitting in my mom's lap in my little blue dress. I have 3 older sisters, and let me tell you, my parents did everything that they could. They taught us everything that they knew about how to be successful, right? But by the time I was 23, I had met their mark. I graduated from North Carolina A&T in Greensboro, North Carolina. You know, I bought a house at 23, right? I went and worked for one of the biggest public accounting firms in the world. And so by all measures, I was considered, you know, the epitome of young, black, and successful. All right? I was so successful, I was doing everything that our America teaches us to do. Our America teaches us to live above our means, to not save a dime, right? To not think about our future self, to enjoy all the luxuries in life, right? To spend all our money, because guess what? You got the rest of your life to pay that back, right? And so while I was doing all these things, living the high life, I got a wake-up call. And that wake-up call was the dot-com bubble burst. And ultimately, the economy tanked. And so the public accounting firm I was working for started losing clients left and right. And little Miss Epitome of Success, I lost my job. Y'all, I was not ready. I was not prepared. Even the advice my parents had given me had not prepared me because I was so caught up in our consumer-centric society, all right? And so when I lost my job, I was hurt, I was humiliated, I was devastated, and this was in my 20s. So because I have such a close-knit relationship with my parents, the last thing I want to do is disappoint them. So I was prepping, trying to figure out how I'm going to tell my parents I just got laid off, I just lost this good job. And so I got up my courage, I went over there, and I shared the news. Now, luckily, my parents were still working. They were my safety net during this period of time. Praise God. But not everybody has that, right? Not everybody has that, and I know that. But it was in that conversation with them that I knew I had to start doing something differently, okay? So that was like my first taste of a free fall, experiencing a free fall where it was beyond my control. But after that conversation, I started reading everything I could. I started listening to all the gurus of the time. Back then, it was Dave Ramsey, it was Susie Orman, right? But not only reading, listening, attending, all the things, I started applying it to my personal situation, right? And so as a result of that, I clawed my way out of over $30,000 in debt. All right? And so that allowed me to get back up on my bike, right? I was back in the race. I was on my game, right? Clawed myself out of over $30,000 in debt. And when I did that, I started preaching the debt-free gospel. Because I wanted everyone I knew and everyone I didn't know to experience what it felt like on the other side of credit card debt, what it felt like on the other side of student loans and auto loans to owe no man, right? It felt great. It's a level of freedom that I was like, everybody should be doing this. Why we don't know? Why we don't know? And so why we don't know is because it's not really taught to us, right? It's not taught in our school systems consistently. If you've never been to a certain point in life, your parents don't know to even teach you, right? And so that's why I wrote the book, right? So fast forward today, I'm married to a wonderful man, and I have a bonus son, Cameron, where now that he is grown and out of the house, right, for me, it's all about legacy. It's all about legacy building. So this is a picture with me, my nieces, and my nephews where I'm taking them on a college tour, right? I'm going to show them the way. I'm going to encourage them to go get a good education, like somebody taught me, right? Because I want them to increase that earning potential. And so by doing this, it's not only about the legacy of my family. Today, it's about the legacies of your families, right? And so that's why the Master Playbook exists today. We are a financial education company. And so my mission is to help this next generation master money. But not only that, to empower their parents, you guys, to empower their rich aunties and their rich uncles, right? To give them a financial head start. And I think you mentioned it earlier. There's no reason anybody coming behind us should be starting at square one, right? We've come too far. We have too much access to information. So it is our responsibility. It is our duty to leave a legacy for the next generation, all right? And so when I started talking about these legacies, I got my amen corner over here. All right. So as I'm digging into, all this legacy talk, I hear a lot of myths or misconceptions when it comes to legacy. And so one of the top things I hear is where people think legacy is reserved for the rich or wealthy, right? Some of you may even be sitting in here and saying, you know what, Holly? My business is too small. I don't really make enough money to talk about legacy, to be included in this legacy conversation. And so what I want to say to you is that legacy is about impact, all right? It's not tied to your bank account. Now, it is true, money is one of the easiest things you can pass on, but legacy is also about impact, right? And so that's where I want you guys to focus. If this is something that you think you need to focus on, if I don't have the money, what's the impact that I can make? The second myth or misconception I hear is I don't have any kids. I haven't identified a successor, right? Nobody is going to want this thing, but you hit on it. Many of us who do have kids, who do have descendants, they don't want nothing to do with our business. All right? They like, you doing what? No, I'm good. You making skincare products from scratch? No, ma'am. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And so I'm here to tell you that it's not based on your descendants or your line of descendants. There are so many, thousands and thousands of examples of people who have started charities, foundations, institutions. They don't have any kids, and so their impact comes through the work and the reach of those organizations, all right? The third common misconception I hear is that leaving a legacy is selfish, all right? Have y'all heard that? I hadn't heard it either, and I was like, really? Is that what you think? Tell me more. Now, if you are only focused on, if your only goal or your only intention in leaving a legacy is to give just enough so your name goes on a building, or if your goal is only give just enough where you are receiving constant praise and recognition while you are here, then yes, that is selfish. That is very selfish. But I'm looking at my video, man. Okay. I was like, you want me to move? Okay. All right. So if that is the goal or the intention, then absolutely it is selfish. It's selfish, right? And that should not be part of the equation, all right? Again, it's all about impact. It's all about what you could do for your industry, what you could do for your community, what you could do for others coming behind you. They are your beneficiaries. And so I was reading this story. How many of you have ever heard of Alfred Nobel? Alfred Nobel. You know who Alfred Nobel is? Yes, honey. Okay, so listen. Alfred Nobel, he was the inventor of dynamite, all right? And so while he was living, he was known as the merchant of death because of how lethal dynamite was, right? But when he died, he bequeathed all his fortune to create the Nobel Peace Prize. And so a man that was once known as the merchant of death today is known for recognizing the contributions of others through the legacy that he left, right? That is not selfish work to me, right? You can change, that just shows me you can change your legacy, right? You can shift it. Maybe you had a bad thing going on, honey, but what you leave behind, what you bequeath, can make a world of difference to those coming behind you, all right? So if you thought any of this, I hope I have released you of that weight, right? Every single one of us can leave a legacy. And so let's look at the definition of legacy. And I'm going to read it. Legacy is the long-lasting impact our actions have on others, on industries, and on communities. Legacy is about creating something today that will continue to add value and inspire long after our direct involvement, right? So in the business context, when we think about our businesses, building a legacy goes beyond having a great product or a stellar service. It is about envisioning your business and how it can shape your industry, how it can uplift your community, and how it can inspire future entrepreneurs, all right? So that's what I'm here for today. I went through all that so we could get here, all right? That's what I'm here for today. And so we're about to go through those three things that I remembered, that I mentioned earlier. So who remembers? We're going to transform the way you think. Somebody say think. We're going to transform the way you invest. Somebody say invest. We're going to transform the way you act. Somebody say act. All in the business realm, okay? The way you act in your business realm so that you can shape something beyond your business. All right, so if y'all are good with that, we're going to jump into the first one. Y'all good? Yep. All right, so the very first step you guys need to make is think. Change how you think. You have to develop a legacy builder mentality. A legacy builder mentality. We have to go from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. We have to go from a poverty mindset to a wealthy mindset. So listen, when I first started my business, I was literally paying for everything with cash, with the money that I had, right? And I was moving at a snail's pace, all right, trying to figure this out. And a friend of mine, a CPA friend of mine, she was like, Holly, you know, girl, you should get a business credit card because, one, it's going to allow you to keep your personal finances separate from your business finances, but then it's going to give you just a little wiggle room so you can buy the inventory, because at the time I was doing a lot of vendor shows. You had to pay vendor fees, and the vendor fees were $200 because I was going for the big bucks, right? So I'm trying to go to the large crowds and get this word out. So she was like, it will give you more leverage to do a little bit more than what you can do with your personal and your current funds that you're bringing in with your business, right? Now, after clawing my way out of $30,000 in debt, applying for a credit card was the last thing that I wanted to do, right? And not only that, but if you were raised, if you have a similar upbringing like I did, we are taught that debt is right, that you should owe nobody. We are taught to never be in debt, right? If at all possible. And to be honest, I preach that. I preach that message when it comes to personal debt, when it comes to personal consumer debt. But here's the mistake I was making. Here's where I needed to shift my mindset. The problem was I was managing my business finances the same way I was managing my personal finances, and they are indeed two different things, all right? They are two different things. So I'm going to ask you guys a question, legit question. When you're thinking about debt, when you're thinking about financing, right? Here's the question. Is a loan considered debt or an investment? I want to hear from y'all. You think it's an investment? Think it's an investment? It depends, right? The answer is depends. What you're using it for? What you buying? right? It depends. So I do want to break this down. We're going to unpack this. We're going to look at the differences between debt and financing, right? When you're thinking about debt, you're thinking about taking on a liability, right? When you're looking at funding, it's an asset, right? It's asset. And so here are some other big differences. With debt, what you buy, whatever you're buying, it's not making you any money. It's not appreciating in value. Some examples, one of the speakers mentioned this earlier. She was like, y'all focus on buying swag. Swag likely is not going to make you any money. Sometimes we as business owners, we spend hundreds and thousands of dollars for